Hello and welcome to another session of the Business Renovator. I'm Coach Phil. Happy to see you here, happy to be here, grateful to be here actually. Today we're going to be talking about a segment out of the Perform at Your Best series of training that I'm involved with. And today's topic, as you can see, is taking charge of your life. Before I start that though, what I'd like to do is honor my buddy and friend, Brian Monahan, and take a quote out of his book. This one is by Gary Vaynerchuk, who's quite popular these days. He's gone from making a wine business, local shop, to a thought leader in the world of marketing, internet marketing, and leveling up people's games. So what does Gary say today? He says, I attract a crowd not because I'm an extrovert or I'm over the top or I'm oozing with charisma. It's because I care. So Brian, the author of this book, talks about his father and how his father started out as a tradesman and then became a very, very eloquent and charismatic speaker and leader. And some of Brian's favorite things about that, he says, some of my favorite businesses aren't the best at what they sell, but they are best at caring. So in the sales training and the training that I do, it kind of resonates with me as well, because one of my favorite statements is nobody cares about you until they know how much you care about them. So no one cares about you until they know how much you care about them. Let that sink in for a minute. I was introduced to this concept the other day. Originally, it was by Pat Hazel, and he said it slightly differently. He said, yes, and he had, you expect sales. Well, I want to broaden the spectrum, because not everybody sells for a living. We all sell our ideas, but if we're all have success and measure it in different ways, I think yes is best known as you expect success, no matter what it is you do. So you're looking forward to a positive outcome versus the opposite to that. Enough said on that. I just thought it was pretty cool. One of the things to keep in mind when you're taking charge of your life is to adapt the idea, the attitude around having self-responsibility. So if you look at the word responsible and change it a little bit, spell it response-able. So you can communicate and you can activate and you can respond with an ability. So I encourage you to think of it that way. And by taking responsibility, you actually are taking charge of your life. When I first was introduced to this concept a few decades ago, when I first, it was the first time I'd seen Brian Tracy, actually, who is the author of much of this content that I'm going to share with you today, at least from the Perform at Your Best training that we offer. It's Brian Tracy, years and years of being in the leadership role, put together a program that went from the Phoenix Seminar to the Psychology of Achievement to now Perform at Your Best. All of the same great content, but slight change in name to represent the changes in the program itself. Just making it better over the decades. So one of the things I remember, though, from way back when it was called the Phoenix Seminar, sitting in the hotel banquet room where we were having the training, and Brian was telling us about this valley, this chasm. And he said, when you get to the age 18 in most societies, that's when you turn into an adult. And that's when you no longer can blame your parents, the teachers, for anything. You need to take responsibility. At least that's what he was impressing upon us. And if you were to take, if you're only half committed to taking responsibility, and you tried to jump over the valley of excuses, you'd fall in the middle. If you weren't fully committed, you need to be fully committed, because you're either responsible for yourself and your life and what's going on, even though you don't cause everything that happens. You take responsibility for it. That's the key. If you don't do that and you try to get across the chasm to the other side, but only half-assed effort, you'll end up in the valley of excuses. And really, that's not where you want to be. You want to be looking for the opportunities to live the best life you can. I'm just reading from some notes that I've accumulated over the years around this topic here. And one of the things that was pointed out is many people are standing at the bus stop waiting for a bus when there's no bus coming. So don't be that person. You want to make sure that you're taking responsibility for your life. Let's go here. Just see, there's a comment here. Click on the right things and things will happen better. So I'm going to take responsibility and click on some things. Christopher says, I think the answer is dependent on people think. So I think that's saying is depending on what people think, I think that's right. I think everything starts with a thought, doesn't it, Chris? Christopher, does it start with a thought first? Hey, Mandy, welcome. Yes, that is a great one, isn't it? Waiting for a bus at the bus stop and there's no bus coming on that route. So you need to take action, really. That's what it's all about. One of my favorite affirmations is, I'm completely self-determined and I allow others the same right. Oh, look at it. You're flying off to Kansas City to meet up with the fellow Megaminders. Thanks for popping in, Tim Lord. If you need anything branded, printed, or created, from business cards to websites, you might want to check out Tim Lord. He's not a paid sponsor. He's just a really good friend. So something else that comes to mind for me is there's some people that when something comes up in their life that's not, they're not happy about, they're frustrated about, or maybe they're what we call in my world, a victim. They see things as problems. And people that take charge of their life from being responsible see things slightly differently. And it's how we perceive things that makes the difference. So if you were to take a problem, move it to a challenge, then that changes the state of mind that you have. And if you take that and then move it another level, just like a kaleidoscope, you just tweak it a little bit, you get a slightly different look, different pattern. If you were thinking that when life hands you lemons in Dale Carnegie's world, he said, make lemonade. So if life hands you a problem like lemons, what if you thought about it as, here's an opportunity to learn something? That reminds me of another great quote by a lovely woman who is no longer with us. She went to the other side this year. She was part of a company where they were helping people increase their efficacy. And when she was battling cancer at age 50, and she survived it, she lived till 86, I believe it was. She said to her husband, she said, when you go through these things and we get to the other side, they just give us longer legs for bigger strides. Now, is that somebody who takes responsibility for their life? I think so. Anybody on here have a tip or trick on how you've done something where you've taken responsibility for your life, even though you may not have caused it, but you're going to own it and make something better out of it, make some lemonade? Like if I gave you a magic wand that could change everything in your life, has something like that happened for you that you would like to share on here today? And if not, for those that are listening or watching this later, you can contemplate on that and make a list of some of the things that you've overcome as a result of taking responsibility of your life, for your life. So it really helps you take charge of your life. I know the people in my Megamind group are exactly like that. They didn't let COVID-19 slow them down. They got together, created a group called the Megamind Group. And I saw a testimonial today by Brian Monahan, who's the author of the book that I introduced at the beginning. He said he joined in about June, and he claims, and I don't doubt him, says that the Megamind Group elevated him so much that some of the things he's got going on would never have happened if it hadn't have been for the Megamind Group. So Megamind Group is it's almost like well, not almost, it's a mastermind group on steroids. So if you want to take charge of your life, there's a strategy that you could put together and implement, is to create your own Megamind mastermind of like-minded people that lift each other up and get you to do things that maybe you might not have done before. The creative juices that comes from that group is amazing. I'm just full of quotes today, looking at my notes. Another one comes to mind is, spend less than what you earn. This is a way of taking responsibility. And eat less than you burn. So if you want to live a healthier life, those are a couple of things you could do. So taking charge of your life is all about taking responsibility. It's taking the leap over the chasm to the other side, so that you can live the life that you would prefer to live. And there's a number of ways to do that. You just have to decide that you want to do that. Set your sights on a goal that you really, really want, and then go after it. Here's a fellow that I met as a result of another mastermind group of sorts, emerging sales winners. Larry's a stellar of a guy, and he used to have 3 businesses, and he sold them to do what he makes his heart sing. There's all sorts of opportunity. The key is to take responsibility. So if you have a question that you would like to have answered, or if you've got an idea, or if you would like to share this out, please do that. You can send your questions to phil@coachphil.ca. You can go to my website and see the previous shows that I've done. It's in my blog. Just go to coachphil.ca, look for the blog tab, and you'll find the history of all of these that are going on and that I've done over the last few months. I'm looking forward to doing this again tomorrow for you, and I'm going to take another thought or concept out of performing your best, so that you can have a reminder of some of the things you're doing right, and maybe there might be a new idea there that just pushes you to the next level. I want to thank you for participating today, and have a fabulous week. We'll talk to you tomorrow.